Hey everybody, welcome to the Black Sheep Props channel. I'm Steve and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, techniques, and materials for building your very own super cool EVA foam props. Now in our last episode, making an EVA foam Viper Part 1, we built most of this thing. We got everything done from the center floor up. We've got the whole top section built, the whole nozzle, and the center floor, and the wings. And it was a piece of cake. Nothing on there was tough. You could totally nail this. Which brings us to now. In this episode, making an EVA foam Viper Part 2, we're going to build everything from the center floor down. We're going to get this whole angular contraption in here. We're going to get this support that goes from the wedge here to the handle, and we're going to get the handle done, which is going to be a dremeling festival. But totally easy. You can totally nail this. So if you're ready to hit it, let's make something. All right, now what we have is we have these two little 3mm pieces that we cut earlier. Now here's where our mark is going to go. Right here. Here. There we go. Okay, now what we've done is this. We've stuck it together like that. See that? That's exactly what we wanted. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to make our mark underneath here where it's too long, and that's that side. All right, now we know this is the perfect length. So, just all right, there we go. Check that out. Perfect. All right, there we go. See that? Flush with the edge right there. Really nice. All right, now we're going to do the same thing over here. That is a cool little detail right there. Really nice. All right. All right, now we transferred our handle pattern over to this super crazy thick 2-inch piece of foam. Wow, man, 48mm. All right, we're gonna knock this out on the bandsaw, and then we're gonna have to shape it. We're gonna have to round it off. That is crazy, insane chunky right there. So what we're going to do to make this easier on ourselves is we're going to take off all of our corners. So we're gonna take off about that much. Okay, so now what we're going to do is this, we're going to come in here, saw back and forth. We're going to take our corner off. See that? Careful when you're coming towards your hand. Make sure you're not pointed at your arm. When you come out the other side, carefully come out just like that. Now we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go even lower. We've roughly shaped it out. See that? Really nice. That's about the size that we want the top of our handle to be. Now what you use is you use the bottom of this piece to determine that. We want it to float in here. That's about the size we want, which means cut a little bit more off, right about to the middle. To the middle. Pretty rough. That is pretty rough, but ooh, now it's starting to fit our hand. All right. Let's cut this right about to the middle. All right, I think we are pretty much there. That is some rough business right there. Look at that thing, man. That's a disaster, but we shaped it, which is good. Ooh, and it's almost fitting good right now. So what we're gonna do is get on the dust mask, get our Dremel out, and wail on this thing. All right, we're gonna get our super rough bit out because we want to take a lot of this off quickly. All right, there we go. Really shaping up. We're gonna take the crazy bit off. We're gonna come back in with our smoother bit. All right, that is not terrible. All right, we're gonna come in with our 80 grit sandpaper. Now we're gonna come in with our 220. All right, now we come in with the smoothest one, the 320. All right, now let's heat seal this thing. All right, there we go. Look at that. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. All right, now before we move on, good golly, we gotta clean up. So let's do that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this into 3 sections. But what we want to do to make sure that it goes back together the right way is we're going to put a mark right like that in the middle. So once we cut it, we know it's going to go back together in exactly the right spot. So okay, there we go. There's our 3 pieces, just like that. Now we're going to do little spacers and we're going to put them in between so it looks like there's a little gap in between each one. All right, here's our pieces. So we're going to bring this over here. All right, we're going to come inside of our piece about 3/16 or so. We're going to stand our knife up and we're just going to pivot right around the inside of our piece. All right, there we go. No. And that's exactly what we wanted. Wow, look at that. That is cool. And it's okay if your spacers aren't perfect because no one's really gonna see them in there. It's just enough to cause that cool separation in the handle like that. So, get that on our X-Acto knife. We're gonna sort of, kind of in the center. Doesn't have to be perfect. Should be cool. All right, here we go. Let's give this a little bit of time to dry and then bam, contact. Line that up. And we pretty much nailed it. Absolutely crazy. Look at that, that's a perfect grip. Now, once again, you've seen on some of our other builds, the grip is up to you, man, to get it custom for your hand, and that's exactly what we did here. Look at that. All right, now we've got some kind of rough edges around where we cut it on the bandsaw. So let's get in here with our 220, and let's just clean up our edges just like that. Good golly. Now this is going to come in and pop right on the back like that, and look at that. Crazy detail. Crazy. All right, now we've got our little 3mm piece. It's going to go across the top of here. Line up our silver Sharpie marks right there, right here at the front. Press it down. Perfect, look at that. We use something to get a nice sharp corner right there. Looks good. All right, now we're going to do the base of our handle. We're going to begin assembling this, and we've got a 12mm piece of foam here for the base. All right, there you go. Nice, very nice. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in this little bit of a side template. We're going to transfer our little side cut over just like that. All right, now that's the the cuts we want to make next. All right, there we go. Check that out. Nice. Did the top cut first and then rolled it over sideways and did these little angle cuts. Really nice. And now we're going to come in with our 220 real quick, and we're just going to clean up the bandsaw lines just a little bit. Now, when you go through the bandsaw, sometimes you have little frays left on the edge. You can hit those with the sanding stick. You can trim those off with the X-Acto. Let's clean our side up real fast. That's tight. Look at that little thing. Cool. Give it a couple minutes. Make sure our mark is lined up. And then we're going to come around to the front. And we're going to make sure we're right inside our Sharpie marks. There we go. That's it. Alright, that easy. Alright, here we go. We've got an 1.5 inch thick piece of foam, piece of scrap foam we have. That's about 38 millimeters. We transferred our pattern over. This is going to go underneath our Viper. Alright, there we go. Nice. And like we've talked about before, sometimes on the bottom side you get little frays. We can come with our X-Acto knife, get rid of them all. Alright, there we go. We've got our line all the way around. Okay, now we've got our wood burner nice and heated up. Now be careful with this thing, man, because it is a skin peeler. And don't forget, you're burning foam, so be in a well-ventilated area. Have the fan blowing the fumes away from your face, and wear a dust mask just to be safe. Stay at the same speed. Don't vary your speed. Don't vary your pressure. There you go, just like that. Beautiful. Now what we're going to do is we're going to roll this over. We're going to go right through. All right, there we go. And now we're just going to do that all the way around. We're going to take our time. That is mighty slick. Cool. All right, now here's our next piece transferred over to a 3/8 inch thick piece of foam, which is 8 millimeter. We're going to knock this out on the bandsaw real quick. All right, nice. All right. We made our marks so we know we're centered. All right, there we go. Okay, we're going to bring our piece in. We're going to line our 2 white marks up. And we're going to come around to the front, make sure we're good. Hot dog, look at that thing. Wow, really cool. All right, here we go. Now we're going to build the bottom piece of our Viper, the piece that hangs down from the bottom. And now this is going to be a little bit funky because the 2 sides are going to be straight cuts, but then the top and the bottom and the front and the back, we're going to have to do bevel cuts on the ends because it's going to taper. But shouldn't be hard, because when we print out our template, it not only shows the front view of each piece, but it shows the side view, and the little gray lines indicate the bevel. And so we don't lose our orientation. We're going to number them so we know exactly where to make the bevel cuts. All right, we're going to do this piece first. This is a 3 millimeter pieces, and we're going to attach it to a 4mm. And then we're going to come in and we're going to use our Sharpie marks that we put down. There we go. All right, there we go. Beautiful. Now, side one and side one. So it looks like we have a slight bevel, and I mean slight. So instead of coming in at a 90, we're going to just barely tip it, and I mean barely. Just like that. All right, so we've got a slight little bevel there. All right, let's cut our straight edges off. Like that. Right around the side to this side. We're going to strike our line. All right, now we know that's accurate. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to spin it around because we need to come at this angle. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start at our line and we're going to slightly tip our knife. Just like that. Okay, so now when we stand this up, our angle at the cut came down, so here our angle came down, and our angle on the bottom went this direction. Our line goes up on this direction and down on this direction. And when we rolled our piece sideways, our cut went up on this side and it went down on this side. And there we go. Now we've got our back piece cut. Now we're going to come around and we're going to do the same thing to the front. Just like that. Perfect. All right, now let's lay it down there and look. All right, see that? Here we go again. Here's the side view. Our angle went this direction, and here it goes that direction. And over on this side, it goes this direction, and we lined it up there. So our angles, the angles of our cuts match the angles we drew here on our side panels, and you'll see why we did this. Right through like that. Okay, now let's take a look and see what we got here. All right, see that? Our two end angles are this way, and they're the same right there. So perfect. Hopefully we did all this right, okay? All right, that's exactly what we're gonna do, all right? So let's try it. Let's see if we had luck. Let's give it a couple minutes, let it set up and dry, and then we stick it. All right, so we're going to line this up right here at the edge where we did our cuts. We want to get a flush edge on this side. Okay, see that? Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to squeeze it in, get it on there right on the money, just like that. Look at that. Line it up. Now we're going to have to really squeeze this one in to get it in there to fit. And there we go. Just like that. Stick this and get it right on there. All right, see that? Crazy. And then not only that, but when you flip it around this way, it tapers. So it tapers this way and it leans back this way. So now, if all goes well, boom, those should fit right on there. And they don't. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to lay our piece down right here. And we're going to trace our side so we know that it's an exact fit. All right, now we're going to stick this down to a 4mm piece. All right. About a 1/2 inch around this whole piece. We're going to line up our corner. And then we're going to stretch it to meet the corner. Right. And now we're going to do the same thing on this back side. We're going to line it up. Okay. Ooh, we are looking really good. Wow. Perfect. Look at that. Flush, 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 and flush. Really nice. Just do a little wrestling. Now let's do the other side. That's the front view. It tapers down, and then when you roll it over to the side view, it kind of leans back, has the flat bottom. Good grief. So you saw how we bevel cut our top, our bottom, our front, and our back to build our structure. And then after we built our structure, we laid it over sideways and traced it so we knew these would be pretty darn accurate. That is not bad. Not the best in the world, but it's not the worst. All right. Right back. There we go. Look at that. Okay, this was also a really good lesson in messing up and having to adjust on the fly. We were off in our calculation. This was kind of tricky. This one was kind of hard, I got to admit. We were off in our calculations, but all we had to do is lay our structure down and trace our sides, and we rescued it from the fire. All right, let's move on. We drew where our 2 stripes are going to go. Now we need to make measurements for these. So what we did was we came in and we laid a piece of paper down so that we could draw the angle. We'll use that as our template. And then we drew the angle for the side right here, because they're 2 different angles. And then what we're also doing is taking into account the thickness of this piece of foam, which means we're going to have to overhang this piece a little bit so they line up flush. So we made our measurements. We measured this top length, and then we measured this bottom length, and we drew our angled edges using our template, and then we measured our side piece. So we drew our pieces out right here. You just have to take your time and do some measuring. We've got cut through here, here, here. Now this should fit. Like that is pretty darn sweet. I'm liking that. This is going to line up perfectly right there. And then line our edge up flush, and then align our stripe down like that. And put our side down. Just hold it while it bonds. Edge to edge, just like that. Look at that corner, sweet. Now we're gonna be coming over and ending it over here. That's a cool little detail right there. Nice, now we're gonna do the same steps here. We're gonna make all of our measurements. We're going to use our template, we're going to cut our pieces, and we're going to stick them. We drew our piece that's going to hang off of the bottom of here. Now what we did was we used this line and these 2 angles to draw this shape. So all right, see that? We used the bottom of the Viper to get our correct angle. We used this angle to get that line, and we used this angle to get this line. And that's how deep we want it. So we're gonna knock this out on the bandsaw real quick. Now we're going to taper this on the bandsaw. All right, there we go. Now it tapers down. Perfect. Line our Sharpie marks up. There we go. All right, now we're going to come in with our Dremel bit and we're going to make some rivet marks. That is pretty cool. So with that last dremeling detail, that brings the build portion of this baby to a close. All right, there we go. That's it right there. We did the whole rest of the build from the center floor down, and it was a piece of cake, right? We ran into some difficulty with this contraption here, but you saw how quickly you can tweak it on the fly. Just do a new measurement, recut your two side pieces, and bam! Looks good. Can't even tell. But other than that, everything was totally easy. You saw how we did a ton of dremeling to get that handle done, and then we separated and put the little spacers in there. That was really cool. And it turned out great, man. The whole build is complete. Love this. Super fun. Like we said before, it's kind of cartoony and it's very chunky. But that's it. That concludes making an EVA foam Viper Part 2. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a like, share us with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And together we're going to go step by step through a lot more super cool builds so that you get the props you deserve. Thanks for coming. See you next time.